What's up, guys? Welcome back to FishOfHex. Today we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the fish room, show you each tank, kind of talk about what's going on with them, show you some projects. And yeah, so I haven't put anything constructive out since Monday. The video I posted yesterday or the day before doesn't really count as a video for this week. And yeah, so I figured I'd show you guys this stuff. I had pretty good feedback on my last video. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to look at the 30-gallon bubble tip tank here. I will probably put new video overlaying this one just because it might be too blue. I don't really know until I start editing. If you've been following me on Instagram, I did a 90% water change on this yesterday. The reason for that is I removed that scrubber, the algae scrubber up there, and then I just felt like the tank was pretty dirty. I really don't do too much with it. The glass was getting dirty. I've been feeding it a little bit more than usual to kind of help with some of the aggression with the clownfish. And yeah, so I just cleaned the glass, did a huge water change, and the bubble tips are a little pissed off. Now, what I'm going to be doing for this is removing a lot of that Hollywood stunner. I'll probably just put it up on the website. And I have a big carpet anemone coming. I don't really know exactly. I got to keep it away from the power head, of course. So I'll probably put it on the back right end of the tank. And then I have a really big, long tentacle. It's either going to be a green or a purplish color. And I'm going to plop it here on the rock. And it's going to end up killing what SPS I have growing there. Is probably the Duncan and that stunners, the chalice. So I figured I'd go ahead and remove that stuff early on, just to prevent it from getting killed by the log tentacle. But other than that, the tank is doing pretty good. A bi-weekly water change of about 50% is pretty average for me. Sometimes I get distracted and I end up waiting an additional week. So at most every 3 weeks, 50%, and the tank does pretty good. The fish are really happy. The one white clownfish seems to be hosting every single bubble tip in the tank, and everybody else, the other 5 fish, have to host the Hollywood stunner chalice when its tentacles come out for feeding in the evening. So it's kind of interesting to see everybody else huddled up on that chalice, and then she's just flopping around through all the bubble tips, having a good old time. But when she's on the other end of the tank, I see them sneaking into the bubble tips where she can't see them, and then once she gets a whiff of them being in there, she zooms over there, acts like a jerk. So I'm hoping by adding that carpet anemone and that longer or that bigger long tentacle anemone that I can help give them more territory to kind of go in and do their own thing. Because what's the point of having a whole, you know, a tank full of bubble tips and all these clowns if only one is actually hosting? So if that doesn't help, I'll probably remove her for a couple weeks. I'll throw her in the quarantine system just to allow these guys to get established in the bubble tips, and then probably put her back in. So that's about it. Let's go to move on to the 125 Oscar tank. Now it's pretty cloudy. I just fed them probably 45 minutes ago, and I've been feeding them some dry food. I was doing a lot of the same food that I feed the rest of the fish here that I make. It was just too nutrient dense. The tank looked awfully dirty, and it's just too many fine particles. It's not good for them. They're not really getting enough food. So this guy's pretty chunky. He's pretty fat. That red Oscar there. That seems to be the more dominant one, and then we have the other Oscar, I believe is a male here, the tiger. He seems to be doing pretty well. Those two seem to bump heads throughout the day, and then the female is down here chillaxing. She comes out, hangs out for a little while, definitely during eating, and when I'm over by the tank, she's coming out now. They're all doing good. No one has eaten any other fish in the tank, so that's pretty awesome. That won't last forever, of course. As soon as they're able to fit in their mouths, they're going to eat them. So I have a little bit of time to get these guys out. I really like that rainbow. What's up? So as long as I keep them fed, they should be good. Tank's doing quite well. Once they get bigger, I will have to redo the filtration for this setup. It's just not going to be good enough for 3 Oscars. 2 possibly, but 3 that are eating consistently, it's not going to work. I might add like a type of a refugium type of thing here and grow plants, some fast-growing plants, kind of maybe some jungle val or something that grows really fast. I might connect it via sump there. Be a pretty easy setup that just drains back over here. Just to help remove some of those nutrients. Again, I'm staying bare bottom just to keep the tank clean. It's really easy to suck out all that fish poop and stuff. It's not the best visually, but at this point I just want to make them happy and healthy, and I don't really care if it doesn't look that great. I just don't want them to get sick and then in turn get the hole in the head. And there's that Flecko coming to chill. He's really interesting. His personality is a lot different than the ones I've had before. He likes to come out, and he's always swimming with the Oscars, and they're like best buds, maybe because they were in quarantine together, who knows. But yeah, so everyone's doing pretty good, so let's go to move on. Now, this is my workbench. cutting. I just cut some coral today. It's pretty awfully dirty. I've been working on a new WYSIWYG frag rack. You guys can see here. I use these Corian strips that I got from Billy Pipes, and sand them down, then use some permanent marker to mark them up, and then there's a little dashes on the side there. Now, I use this for basically the WYSIWYG purposes. I will take pictures of coral up front where it's easy to take nice pictures, edit them, get them cropped the way I want, and then I'll assign them a number, and then of course sell them out that way. And that's pretty much like this is the entire top part of that low boy there. That top low boy is pretty much covered just like that, and it's good, but I am finding that I don't have enough room with both the tanks, so I'm trying something out, which you guys will see here in a minute, to kind of see if it works to help with the humidity down here. And then if it does, then I'll go ahead and add a couple more tanks to the frag system. So with that said, let's go move over to the 300 gallon. It's definitely blue. I'm gonna have to do some overlay on this, and it's really, really, really dirty. To be honest with you guys, this tank, I don't clean it or clean the glass unless it's the morning of making a video. This video was last minute, so yeah, that's like 3 or 4 days of just dirtiness. I mean, there's a little spot we can look in right there. Blue. Yeah, so that's kind of how I keep it. It is what it is. If I know someone's coming over, look at the tank, I might go ahead and clean it. But the reality is I have so much going on here in the fish room. I don't really, I hate to say this, I don't really pay too much attention to it. I test it every week, dose as needed, water changes once a month, trim coral, basically do everything to keep it going and doing well. I just don't pay too much attention to it, which is definitely a downside of working all the time down here on different projects and the frag tank and all that stuff. You don't really get to enjoy the tank, and I'm hoping to change that here in the future. Now let's go and look at the frag tank that I added last week, or it's either last week or early this week. I don't know. I keep getting distracted. There is some cyano. You guys can see that for sure. Now, I will say I expected the cyano in here because I am testing the nutrient levels in the 300 to kind of see what I can get away with. At about 0.18 ppm on the Hanna checker for the phosphates, there's cyano in the overflows of the 300, and of course definitely down here. But with that being said, I'm dosing a ton. I think twice a week right now. I'm at 90 milliliters of NO3, and I'm just barely staying at about 2 ppm of nitrates. So I'm dosing a ton of that to help with the nitrates. It just seems to be something that I'm lacking, and I know it's because of the food that I feed these guys. I make my own food that has a ton of nori in it because they're tangs, and it just has a ton of phosphates. So my phosphates and nitrates are going to be kind of misbalanced, so that's why I'm dosing a lot of nitrates. And I could tell just some of the corals are a little darker than I would like them to be because of the phosphates. The growth is kind of slow just a little bit, and you can really tell, especially when you cut something, within a few days it should start healing itself. And in my case, it's definitely taking a little bit longer, and that's just because the phosphates are higher. Again, at about I think I tested them Sunday. They were at 0.18 or 19. It was something pretty high, and I like to usually keep it at 0.08 or 0.15 at the very max. But yeah, so we're just testing to see what works and kind of go from there. Now I don't have the refugium on. Actually, I might just show you guys this. See this giant mess of water? Well, this hose that I have, as you can see, that I've kind of cut and put together, it's leaking. It's just kind of my water change hose that comes over to my reel. You guys saw me install that a while ago with my RODI system, and it's just old. I'm going to be replacing. I put an order in BRS for I think 60 or 70 feet of the vinyl hose or something. It has it's basically enforced wall, so it doesn't collapse like this does, like this crap here. You know, it just kind of squeezes and pinches, and that's how it starts breaking. So I'm going to replace all this next week once the order comes in, and we won't have to have this mess anymore. The refugium is not on, but yeah, it's definitely doing good. It's pretty empty, I'll be honest with you. You can't really tell with the stepping on shit. I probably should turn it on, but I'm not gonna. It's about halfway full. I did stop a little of the orders just for a little while to give it some time to catch up. I pulled a lot more Chaeto out of the 300 gallon. One of the benefits of having all that extra phosphates and stuff is that the Chaeto is definitely growing a little bit quicker down there opposed to the frag tank, so I'm able to pull it out and put it in the frag tank and then sell it that way. So yeah, I put pictures on the website there, my camera turned off, of the NO3 that I started and the PO4. I make it here, again, I showed you a video on that, but I've been using a ton of it, and there's some of you guys who sent me messages saying, hey, can you just make this stuff and sell it, because I don't feel like going through the process even though I watched the video, and I don't mind. It's definitely one of the best prices on the internet for sure. And I did a little label there for both, and I've been selling that stuff. You guys have been pretty awesome about that, and thank you for the support. Now moving over to the frag system, yeah, it's definitely gonna be blue. I'm trying out something you guys can see here, this little top. This is the Greenhouse 8mm polycarbonate, yeah, top. Now I ended up buying this stuff online because even though you can get it at Home Depot, they don't have it here locally. I think the closest spot is going to be Maryland, which would cost me like $100 in gas just to even go there. But yeah, I'm trying these out to help with the, alright, stop focusing like that, to help with the evaporation and the humidity here in the fish room, and I want to see how they work. So far they've been pretty good. I can see in the morning that it's starting to collect a little bit of water on the top. The PAR seems to not be really affected in the tank. I have to fix my PAR meter, replace the USB end because it actually rusted out on me, so I got to replace that. Let's get over here so it stops doing that. And I'm actually ordered some more of it online, and I'm going to put some on the sump and on top of the refugium to help, again, with that evaporation. And we'll see if it works. If it does help, then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more tanks somewhere. I'm probably going to set them up over here. 2 more low boys stacked just like that. Same sump, same refugium, so I can have some more coral. It's going to be an expensive project. I just haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet. Moving on here. This is my phyto growing station, which you guys have been very supportive of. I put it on, I basically use so much of it here in the fish room that I decided to make it myself. It's a single strand, and every Sunday I harvest it, and I can only do about 20 bottles a week right now. I will be starting another culture there in this one for that 4th light Sunday. But man, why does it keep zooming like this? Annoying. Yeah, so Sunday I'll be ready to go. I am back ordered right now. I think there's like 12 to 15 orders of phyto that need to be shipped out because I did not have it available. I didn't think it was going to be sell that quickly, to be honest with you. I had 10 bottles, and I use it a lot here. On the 300 gallon, I use 50 milliliters every single night when the lights go out, and I use 25 milliliters on the frag system. And I use a lot of it here, and I didn't think that you guys were going to buy a ton of it, but you definitely did, and I really do appreciate it. So there will be plenty of that ready to go for shipping next week. Hoping to have all those orders out and some. But yeah, so that's about it for the fish room. Not a ton of stuff going on. The let's see here, the reef tanks for veterans tank is let's see if I can get you guys a whole view of that without getting my license plate in there. Yeah, this will be going out next month. Looking forward to that for sure. Finally got enough money saved up. Talking to some sponsors to finish off the rest of the tank. Even if they don't go through or come through, I'm going to definitely have this tank out next month, pick a winner, at least go through that process. Really excited, not only to get it done, but just to get it out of the fish room. It's been here for a while, and every time I look at it, I just remind myself of I need to hurry up and get this done. My next build probably won't be as expensive as this one because it just took so long to get this tank and everything that I need for it. Next to the tank is my ZX6R. She's broken. Yep. Yeah. Long story short, I sat in traffic for, I don't know, last June I sat in traffic for probably 45 minutes. Thinking out, you can't lane split in Pennsylvania. So I sat there. It overheated to the point where antifreeze was spitting out the side of it. It shut off. And then and then the antifreeze was just missing. Like I topped it off, and then it was missing, and then it started sounding funny. And I think that I either warped the head on the engine or the gasket's leaking. Either way, it's gonna be some money to fix it. She's been down since July of last year. But I am gonna go pick up my brother's. I hate to say this, I'm just not a fan of the bike, but he needs some money. He's running through some financial stuff, so I told him if he sold me his bike, I'd hook him up with the cash, no problem. And it's a 2011 or 12 white Gixxer 600. Not a fan, but you know, it's a Gixxer. I'm a Kawasaki guy, but you know, we'll see how that is. I drove it once before when he first got it. It was pretty cool. You know, I guess the way it feels, the way you're sitting in it, it's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see. again, I'm a Kawasaki guy, but you know, a bike's a bike, and if I don't have one, I love driving the truck, but I don't like paying for the gas. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and here's my dirty fish room one more time, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.